On the podium. Well, thank you all so much for being here. It is my great honor on behalf of our class to speak. I'd first like to thank the members of my cohort who selected me to speak on this day. I hope your choice in me is not as disappointing as Brian's choice in taking us on a 3-hour ghost tour. I know that reference might be confusing to some, and I'll get into more detail about that later. But for now, I'd like to move into thanking all of the parents, families, and guests who are here with us today. Your continued love and support throughout our years of life, and especially throughout the 2 years of us being here, is the fuel that kept many of us going throughout this time. Thank you for allowing us to never stop believing in our dreams, and for allowing us to be here today. Without you, many of us would not have made it here. I would like to thank all of the faculty of the higher education program that are here today. Thank you for giving us knowledge to serve as the foundation for the work that we do. Thank you for not giving us information, but challenging us to find our own answers and to justify them, and for ultimately caring for each of us deeply. Finally, I would like to thank all of the supervisors who were able to be here today, as well as those who are not. The students you met a couple years ago are not the same people graduating today. For it is through your guidance, willingness to allow for us to learn, and care that you had for each of us as we made our way here that allows for us to go into the world as professionals and serve students confidently. Sir Isaac Newton stated that if I've been able to see further, it is because I stood on the shoulders of giants. On behalf of the graduating class today, each of us is able to see further because of the giants both on this stage and in this room. So thank you. I would like to go back to the reference I made about a 3-hour ghost tour in Tampa. This moment was very excruciating for many of us. And in the moment, many of us would have rather been any place but there. But in reflecting on this moment, I'm glad that none of us were any place but there. For it is moments like these that bring a group together. This group has been lucky enough to have many moments like that throughout our time here. From a Saturday tailgate before an FSU win, to Caitlin's yummy caramel apple dip on a break between class. This group is more than a group of people graduating with the same degree. We are a cohort. And to me, a cohort extends beyond those receiving their masters, but also those receiving their doctorates. A cohort is a group of people who stick together till the end. And for me, this group has had one moment that, for me especially, has defined that we are a cohort and will stick together through the end over any other. 10 months ago, I was told that I had a hereditary disease that would take away 90% to all of my vision. This was quite news for me. I am so grateful for everyone here today, and it is not by me alone that I stand here. My story, I've learned much about my story and myself through this experience, but more importantly, I have learned many lessons in community. My story is not my own. My story is us. And through the lessons I've learned, I hope to create lessons for everyone here today moving forward into their next communities that they have. My first lesson in community is related to this little rope I have here. I'm someone who has lofty goals. I'm someone who enjoys running outside and being in the outdoors. As I progressively began losing my sight, it became increasingly difficult for me to run outdoors by myself. Many people would say to me, "Oh, well, have you tried a treadmill?" Or, "Oh, that's too bad." But my dad introduced this rope to me over Thanksgiving break. And since then, I have not only been able to continue running outdoors, but this semester complete 2 half marathons. This rope is nothing. This rope, the power in this rope comes from not this rope, but the person connected to the other end. When each of us set our sights on the lofty goal of achieving a master's degree, we knew that we would not make it on our own. Through your time here, and for all those graduating here today, you did not make it to this finish line on your own. Through your time here, you were able to be connected to a partner or to multiple people as they took you to your finish line. As you leave here today and go forth in finding new communities, surround yourself with others who will take you to your finish lines. And be the person who will take others to their finish lines. The second lesson that I've learned about community is related to my walking stick here. Although I've been progressively losing my sight, and by November had lost around 90% of it, it was not until February that I began using this stick. I knew the help that it would add in my life. I knew that I would become more independent and be able to find my way around easier. I knew that overall it would be an easier way of life. But I did not want to be perceived as someone who was blind or visually impaired and might need some help. But that's exactly who I was. And for me, the minute I began putting my ego away and using this device, my life became immensely easier in multiple ways. I was able to get around more on my own. By asking for help, my life became easier. But something even more amazing happened that I had not even expected when I started using this. And that was the amount of people who came up to me and asked if I needed help. This feeling of being lost and scared and not knowing exactly where you are, as I often am, is washed away when someone comes up and asks you if you need help. For those of us graduating today who are beginning to form new communities, remember that asking for help does not mean you're weak. It means that you're strong enough to recognize that the community is stronger than the individual. Along with this, be someone who is willing to ask others if they need help. Although those you interact with, whether they be students, faculty, or community members, although they might not have a walking stick such as I do, there are many people in this world and on our campuses who need help. And the feeling that you will give to them by asking if they need your assistance is so amazing that I hope that you all will go about doing that every day. The final lesson that I've learned through community, that I've learned about us as a group graduating here today, is related to this cap and gown that I wear here today and the fact that I'm able to stand up here and confidently tell you my story. My final lesson is that I in no way am standing here today because of the work that I did by myself. I am standing here today because of the student affairs professionals and those who are going on to be student affairs professionals from here. When this all began, many people asked me, how would I complete the work expected of me, both in my job and in my classroom? How would I get to work? And for me, the most important question was, would I be supported as I took on this new identity? The answer to the last question, I'm able to tell you, is a resounding yes. And that is because of the student affairs professionals both on this campus and especially those sitting here today in the front rows have provided me. The informal conversations, to the laughs, to the rides, to everything has allowed for a student who did not know if he was going to return to higher education to make the choice that he knew he would be supported by this group of people and make it to this point today. I ask for so much, and this group of students gives me 110%. I charge you as you move forward into finding your new communities on your new campuses and your new chapters of life to remember the fact that I am an example of the fact that the work you do matters. The work you do allowed for a student to be here today in this regalia, on this stage, with you. Mark Twain related that kindness is the language the deaf can hear and the blind can see. And I might not be able to see you all right now, but I can sure see the kindness you've given me throughout this entire year. As you move forward, I think I dropped the rope, but do not forget to surround yourself with people who will take you to your finish lines, as well as take others to their finish lines. Do not be afraid to ask for help, because it's going to make your life a lot easier, and ask others for the help that they need. And finally, never forget the importance of the work you do, for the work you do is important. I am so blessed to call each and every one of you my friends, and congratulations to the cohort of 2015.